Sure, I may not bathe, but I have natural pheromones.
See that right there? It's completely numb, and
That could be you, ladies. Peace.
If you've never seen this guy on TikTok, consider yourself lucky because what you're about to see feels more like a documentary about a man testing the limits of human hygiene.
It smells worse now. Anyways, I'm going to be showing you guys uses for you don't even need that much urine because its microbial properties are just that good. So you got your finger drenched in urine.
Now, Isaac, better known as Fluff Dumpster, believes showers are destroying his chances with women, keeps collecting things most people wouldn't keep for a second, and has turned disgusting habits into an entire online philosophy.
Oh my god, are you okay?
Yeah, Mom.
What happened to your leg?
I'm just making scabs, okay? I'm actually pretty excited because this was one of my biggest scabs this week.
What is that on your face? Have you been eating your scabs?
Mom, I'm not eating my scab.
And although most of the time I tell you to grab a snack, sit back and enjoy the show, this time, please don't be considering consuming anything because things will get, let's just say, really gross. Isaac is a man whose entire internet identity revolves around a philosophy that most people would consider completely backwards because according to him, modern hygiene is the problem. And while most people are taught from childhood that showering, brushing their teeth, wearing clean clothes, and using deodorant are basic parts of staying healthy, Isaac argues that these habits interfere with the body's natural systems. Over the years, he's repeatedly promoted what he calls pheromone maxing, a lifestyle built around the belief that avoiding showers and preserving natural body odors will make him more attractive to women, and to him, it's not as stinky as people think.
First off, I'm not stinky. I'm pheromone maxing. Kids at school don't really get it, so I'm not surprised that you on TikTok would not get it.
This idea sits at the center of nearly everything he posts online, and in Isaac's view, the human body produces natural scents that are weakened by soaps, shampoos, deodorants, and other hygiene products. For this reason, he frequently talks about protecting his microbiome and preserving what he believes are powerful pheromones. Now, medical experts generally describe human attraction as a complex combination of biology, psychology, appearance, personality, and social factors, and there is no scientific evidence showing that refusing basic hygiene makes someone more attractive. Nevertheless, Isaac has remained committed to the belief.
I think it's day 10, trying to get him to shower. I don't know what to do anymore. I mean, fucking look at this.
In several videos, he compares his lifestyle to a keto diet for hygiene, arguing that people have become dependent on products that supposedly weaken the body's natural chemistry. As strange as that idea sounds, it has become the foundation of his online persona, and every part of his daily routine appears designed to support it, and his diet is one example. Rather than promoting nutritious eating habits, Isaac often consumes large amounts of fast food, sugary drinks, and energy beverages. Red Bull appears frequently throughout his content, and he suggested that these foods somehow contribute to the potency of his scent.
the food you eat also makes a difference. Fast food is more potent. Things like Red Bull, too, they help. P.S. One last thing. If you wanted an analogy, pheromone maxing would be like a keto diet for your hygiene.
Once again, there's no medical evidence supporting those claims, but within Isaac's personal philosophy, almost everything is viewed through the lens of pheromone production. And this mindset eventually transformed ordinary personal habits into a kind of performance art for his audience because videos about avoiding showers become more extreme and discussions about body odor became more detailed as stories about preserving scent became recurring content.
Isaac, you gotta take a shower. Isaac, it fucking stinks in here. Isaac, no. It smells. It smells like fucking cat shit. You gotta go take a shower. You're fucking greasy. You can change the oil in a car with your goddamn hair. You fucking stink.
Not yet.
Surprisingly, the more unusual the claims became, the larger the audience seemed to grow. And as his following expanded, viewers started noticing that Isaac's lifestyle was becoming less about avoiding showers and more about constructing an entire identity about being unhygienic, and he doesn't shy away from sharing what he thinks the benefits are.
You are like Magic Mike, but for women. As an empath, I know that women love pheromones and are attracted to them. I can tell that they look at me when I enter a room.
And the weirdest thing in all of this is that he actually believes it worked, at least for him.
Now, this only happened after I started pheromone maxing, which means I think it's more subconscious than actually look maxing, which I did try and, have retained somewhat, and it increases my chances of finding a non-related loving wife. I think that's the main reason we should normalize pheromone maxing.
As expected, their reactions ranged from fascination to disgust, and many people continued watching simply because they could not believe someone was documenting these habits so openly. One particularly bizarre example involves his relationship with money, where in one viral moment discussed by viewers, Isaac treated a dollar bill with an unusual level of affection, creating content that many people interpreted as another attempt to generate shock value.
Omega males are in love with their money. As an Omega male, ladies, I love my money, and I am sure to get more money. And this could even be some of yours, if you were to date me, for instance.
By this stage, it had become difficult to separate genuine belief from performance because nearly every upload seemed designed to provoke a reaction. Unfortunately, that attention came with consequences because as months passed, many followers noticed visible signs of declining health as critics pointed out changes in his appearance, concerns about cleanliness, and behaviors that appeared increasingly unhealthy. Nevertheless, Isaac continued presenting his lifestyle as proof that he had discovered something everyone else had missed. And the result is one of the strangest self-improvement philosophies currently circulating on social media, because while most creators document routines intended to improve fitness, confidence, or overall well-being, Isaac built his platform around rejecting many of the habits traditionally associated with personal care. Whether viewers see him as sincere, misguided, or simply performing for attention, the philosophy of pheromone maxing became the foundation upon which the rest of his internet story was built. But unfortunately for Isaac, once people started looking beyond the theory and examining what this lifestyle was actually doing to his body, the story became far more disturbing. Now, if Isaac's philosophy sounds strange in theory, the condition of his body is where that philosophy becomes impossible to ignore, because over time, his content stopped being centered on abstract discussions about pheromones and natural scents, and became a public record of what happens when basic hygiene is abandoned for months at a time. One of the most alarming examples involves his oral health. Throughout numerous videos, Isaac has openly admitted that brushing his teeth is not part of his regular routine.
I haven't brushed my teeth in a few days. I don't usually, and I do not shower.
While many people occasionally skip a brushing session, Isaac describes going days and sometimes far longer without properly cleaning his mouth. Eventually, viewers began noticing visible changes whenever he spoke directly to the camera. His tongue frequently appeared coated in a thick white layer, and he described sensations that sounded increasingly concerning because at various points he claimed that parts of his tongue felt numb, that pieces were flaking away, and that his mouth felt as though it was deteriorating.
It keeps turning white and flaking. See that right there? It's completely numb, and it's like my tongue is falling apart.
But despite this, he did not brush his teeth, and so after a few days, it got even worse.
It's all just like dead tissue on my tongue. Like I can't feel it,
As expected, the comment section quickly filled with people suggesting that he might be dealing with oral thrush or other infections associated with poor oral hygiene, and that his immune system was cooked. Of course, nobody online can diagnose medical conditions through a screen, but the concern was widespread because the symptoms he described sounded far more serious than ordinary bad breath. Yet, instead of calling it quits on the whole pheromone maxing, Isaac continued discussing these issues almost casually, often presenting them as temporary inconveniences rather than warning signs. That attitude became a recurring pattern throughout his content because problems that would send many people directly to a dentist or doctor were frequently treated as just another chapter in his ongoing pheromone maxing experiment. But as if Isaac couldn't take his philosophy to a whole new level, the situation involving his feet became even more disturbing because in one of his most infamous stories, he explained that he had worn the same sock for an extended period in an effort to maximize odor.
I have been pheromone maxing my feet smell for a little while now, okay? And I wore this sock for about a month, nearly a month, and yeah, it is pretty good. It is very strong. That is a splash that I like to take, and yeah, I'm still waiting for this foot to hatch. I think it's going to do pretty well.
According to his own account, the goal was to preserve scent and strengthen the natural smell he believed women would find attractive. However, what followed was exactly the sort of outcome that critics had been warning about because as the days turned to weeks, viewers learned that his foot had developed serious issues including discoloration, an overwhelming odor, and signs that suggested infection. The smell became a recurring topic in discussions surrounding his content, with both family members and viewers expressing concern.
And my mother, she smelled it, and she went into my room. She said that something died in here. It wasn't rotten food this time. It was my foot.
The situation reportedly became serious enough that his mother intervened and took him to seek medical attention.
And I explained that to her, but she still took me to the hospital. I'm not pleased about it.
Yet the most shocking part was how Isaac handled it, because rather than describing the experience in urgent terms, Isaac often spoke about it with an unusual sense of curiosity. One of the phrases that circulated widely online involved him referring to the infection as though he was waiting for his foot to hatch. That comment alone became the subject of countless reaction videos because many viewers could hardly believe what they were hearing, with some even betting that it would probably hatch into maggots. However, the feet were only one part of a much larger picture because the skin and hair eventually became another source of fascination and concern among viewers. Instead of treating dandruff and dead skin as waste material that should be discarded, Isaac began collecting it. In videos, he referred to these collections using names such as body bags and dandruff drift. Small bags containing flakes of skin and hair debris appeared as recurring props throughout his content, creating yet another example of behavior that many viewers found difficult to understand. The situation became even more unsettling when discussions turned toward his scalp.
Okay, does anybody know how to treat cradle cap? It's not something I've had to deal with for like 17 years, but unfortunately he's got cradle cap now, and I don't really know what to do about it.
His mom referenced severe dandruff, persistent irritation, and what appeared to be significant buildup around his hairline, but sometimes it got worse.
Give me some advice. It's getting really flaky, and it's itchy, and it's oozing. And I've tried to help him scrape at it, but it hurts him. And so I didn't know if any moms had any advice for me.
Obviously, commenters regularly urged him to wash his hair, seek treatment, or consult a medical professional. Nevertheless, those recommendations often seemed to have little effect, to a point Isaac's audience was no longer debating whether his lifestyle was unconventional because the discussion had shifted toward whether he was actively harming himself for content. And this is because every new video seemed to introduce another physical consequence connected to the choices he was making, and every consequence generated even more attention online. That attention created a strange cycle where the more severe the condition appeared, the more people watched. And the more people watched, the more discussion surrounded his content, and as those discussions grew larger, Isaac continued documenting the deterioration in remarkable detail. For many viewers, this was the moment the story stopped being about a quirky internet personality with unusual beliefs. Instead, it became a real-time chronicle of physical decline unfolding in front of hundreds of thousands of people. Yet, as disturbing as the infections, skin problems, and hygiene issues were, they still weren't the strangest part of Isaac's world, because the things he collected from his own body would soon take the story into territory that few people expected.
Here are my pee bottles. 10
By this point, his content had already built a reputation around avoiding showers, preserving body odor, and documenting infections. However, Isaac eventually expanded his philosophy beyond his own appearance and began focusing on something even more unusual, collecting and storing his bodily waste and even labeling it based on the date it was collected.
12/10/24. Extra hydrated. 9/13/24. I was sick that day.
According to Isaac, these collections are connected to his broader beliefs about health, fertility, microbes, and natural living, and throughout various videos, he's suggested that bodily fluids contain valuable properties and represent proof of a healthy biological system. Now, medical science does not support many of the claims he makes regarding these materials, and health professionals generally advise proper disposal of bodily waste because of the risks associated with bacteria, contamination, and disease transmission. Nevertheless, Isaac has repeatedly treated these substances as items worth preserving. For this reason, his urine collection became one of the most discussed examples because over time, viewers noticed bottles appearing throughout his videos, and Isaac openly discussed keeping containers of urine for extended periods, and because some of these bottles were reportedly labeled with dates, it created what many viewers described as a catalog of stored urine. In videos discussing the collection, he used language that shocked even longtime followers because at various points, he referred to urine as being warm and valuable, and he suggested that it somehow contributed to his attractiveness and overall health, and sometimes he could just open the bottles containing this aged piss to get what he referred to as piss air.
This is my piss air take. So I got the fan going with the piss, and I got the window open too, so I can get all that sweet, sweet nectar that is the ladies.
Those comments immediately generated enormous backlash, and his comment section was filled with confusion, disgust, and disbelief as many viewers assumed he was joking, because there was no woman who'd be drawn to an old piss smell. While others believed he was creating exaggerated content purely for attention, the recurring appearance of the bottles and the consistency of his explanations convinced many people that he genuinely maintained the collection, even though it was deeply uncomfortable for the people around him.
I didn't take it into my room again. Can you actually do that?
In here?
Can you, no,
What's that smell?
just the,
What the f is that? Isaac, what the f are you doing in here? Can I have one day where you don't do this shit?
Mom!
Unfortunately, the situation also became a recurring source of conflict within his household because his mother frequently appeared in stories involving the bottles, and she was clearly disgusted.
I told you I don't want any more. Open it. Oh my god. I'm gonna fucking throw up.
Mom, leave!
You get out!
These incidents regularly escalated into arguments because Isaac viewed the collections as important, while family members viewed them as a health hazard. As a result, many of his videos became less about the collection itself and more about the ongoing battle between his personal beliefs and the concerns of the people living around him. However, urine was only one part of the story because the controversy grew significantly when discussions turned toward feces. In various clips and stories discussed by followers, Isaac admitted to keeping bags containing fecal matter, which he referred to using terms such as septic bags.
And this is my septic bag, which I made in the bathroom last...
Isaac, what are you doing in here?
Mom, you were supposed to be at work today.
Once again, he connected the practice to getting ladies.
Why are
Mom.
you doing this?
Mom, a guy with hobbies is attractive. I looked it up online.
Disgusting. Is that a tooth in that one? Where'd you get a tooth?
For most viewers, this represented the point where curiosity turned into outright disbelief because collecting bodily waste is not considered normal behavior, and public reactions reflected that reality almost immediately. Please tell me this is fake. That septic doesn't look real. It is. And I prayed and hoped it was crushed up Oreos and water mixed, but it's what you think it is. Nevertheless, the controversy surrounding bodily waste did not remain confined to his own property because one of the most widely discussed incidents involved allegations that Isaac had been captured on a neighbor's security camera urinating into potted plants during the night. According to accounts shared online, the urine damaged the plant and led to complaints from the property owner, and the story eventually escalated to the point where law enforcement reportedly became involved.
So the cops just left. Isaac's, he got caught vandalizing the neighbor's house. The neighbor has a plant. It was our plant. He took it because he likes plants. No big deal. Isaac wasn't happy about that. The guy's camera caught him. Isaac's been pissing in the plant. Plant's been dying. The guy has no idea what's going on. Looks at his Nest cam, sees that Isaac's been pissing and dropping other weird stuff in it at nighttime. And the cops, of course, took it seriously because you can't urinate in public, especially on somebody's front porch like that.
Whether viewers found the incident shocking, funny, disturbing, or simply bizarre, it reinforced a growing pattern that had become impossible to ignore. The philosophy that began with avoiding showers had gradually expanded into a worldview that touched nearly every aspect of daily life. Personal hygiene, bodily fluids, household cleanliness, and interactions with neighbors all became connected to beliefs that most people considered extreme. Yet somehow, even this chapter was not the strangest part of the story, because while Isaac's body and personal habits had already become a source of endless internet discussion, the condition of the environment around him would soon create an entirely new controversy, one that would become impossible for his family to ignore. And one of the strangest parts of Isaac's online story is that his personal hygiene habits do not stop with his own body. See, as his audience continued watching his videos, many people began noticing that the same philosophy he applies to himself also appears to extend to the space around him, and over time, discussions about body odor, pheromone maxing, and refusing to shower slowly gave way to something even more shocking as the focus shifted from Isaac himself to the condition of the room where he spends much of his time. And for many viewers, the so-called poop wall saga became the moment when the story crossed into territory that felt almost impossible to believe. The videos spread across TikTok, reaction channels, and discussion forums because people genuinely struggled to determine whether what they were seeing was real, exaggerated, or some kind of elaborate performance designed to generate engagement. Nevertheless, the footage and the reactions surrounding it became some of the most talked about content associated with Isaac's online presence.
Oh, he's drawing. He's a really good artist. Hey, bud, what are you drawing?
How did you unlock my door?
What the f*** is that? What is that? Is that shit?
No.
Isaac, I'm telling your dad.
Don't tell my dad.
I'm telling your dad.
Don't tell my dad.
This is the pull of a lifetime. I can only imagine what is on that keyboard. According to videos posted on his account and discussions surrounding those posts, Isaac admitted to creating what he referred to as a poop wall inside his room. He also discussed having what viewers labeled a booger wall, creating the impression that bodily waste had become part of the environment itself. Naturally, these claims triggered immediate disbelief, and his comment section filled with people asking whether the videos were even real, whether special effects were involved, or whether Isaac was intentionally trying to shock viewers for attention. However, one thing remained consistent throughout the entire controversy: Isaac rarely appeared embarrassed by the situation. In fact, he often discussed these incidents with the same confidence that he used when explaining pheromone maxing or defending his refusal to shower. That attitude ended up becoming one of the biggest reasons the story gained so much traction, because viewers expected shame, regret, or at least some acknowledgement that the situation had become unhealthy. Instead, they often encountered explanations that treated the entire situation as normal or misunderstood. Yet, to make matters worse, the conflict reached another level when Isaac's mother became involved. Now, throughout many of his videos, she serves as an unwilling supporting character who repeatedly finds herself dealing with the consequences of his behavior, and during the poop wall saga, she had to clean portions of the room herself after becoming overwhelmed by the condition of the environment.
My mom is removing my artwork. Mom, you're just being overly dramatic now.
There's shit on the walls.
Mom, you're kind of being a drama queen right now, and you don't need to be.
For many viewers, her reactions became one of the most relatable parts of the story because they reflected the disbelief and frustration that much of the audience already felt.
Isaac, why would you do this?
Mom, you chose to clean it.
This is worse than your booger wall.
Mom.
Yet, rather than thanking her for cleaning the space, Isaac kept accusing her of overreacting and referred to her as a drama queen. He also suggested that she was interfering with something he viewed as meaningful, which some viewers interpreted these comments as jokes.
My mom is just trying to clean my art.
There's blood in it.
We can leave her to that. Good night, people.
While others believed he genuinely felt that his actions were being unfairly criticized, regardless of intent, the clips generated enormous discussion because they highlighted a recurring pattern that had already appeared throughout his content. Whenever someone attempted to intervene, Isaac often framed himself as the misunderstood party in the situation. And while his mom literally handled his shit, all Isaac could feel bad about was the not-so-severe punishment that came after.
You're not getting your allowance this week. That's for fucking
What?
sure. You're not getting your allowance. You're not getting anything.
Am I getting Burger King still?
You can get it on Wednesday, but only because it's on the deal, and you can only get the $3 Whopper. You're not getting anything else.
Damn
You're not
it.
getting anything else.
Now, even without the poop wall controversy, descriptions of Isaac's room had already become a major talking point among viewers. Various videos referenced large amounts of clutter, old food containers, and bags that he claimed served a purpose connected to his collections. McDonald's bags appeared frequently in discussions, with Isaac sometimes explaining that they were being used to store various items rather than being simple trash. Unfortunately, when food waste remains in a room for extended periods, it creates conditions that can attract insects, produce unpleasant odors, and contribute to unsanitary living conditions. For this reason, viewers frequently pointed out that these concerns in comment sections, while others focused on reports that the smell inside the room had become overwhelming. At one point, according to discussions surrounding the videos, Isaac's mother allegedly remarked that it smelled like something had died in there. That statement quickly spread through reaction communities because it painted a vivid picture of how severe the situation had allegedly become. Nevertheless, Isaac continued approaching the issue with the same mindset that guided much of his online content. He frequently rejected conventional ideas about cleanliness and appeared comfortable living in conditions that most people would find extremely difficult to tolerate. And as the story evolved, the room itself became almost a character within the larger narrative because new viewers often arrived expecting to learn about pheromone maxing and bizarre hygiene theories. Instead, they discovered a growing archive of videos documenting an environment that seemed to become increasingly chaotic over time, with his room transforming into a visual representation of Isaac's broader worldview, where rules that most people consider obvious simply did not apply at all while Isaac referred to himself as an Omega Man. What makes this chapter particularly important is that it demonstrates how deeply these beliefs appear to influence his daily life, because refusing to shower is one thing and keeping unusual collections is another. However, allowing those ideas to shape an entire living environment creates consequences that affect family members, visitors, and anyone else forced to interact with that space. By this stage of the story, many viewers had already concluded that Isaac was no longer simply documenting an unconventional lifestyle. Instead, they believed they were watching someone become increasingly committed to a philosophy that was creating visible problems around him. Nevertheless, the most controversial chapter was still waiting in the wings, because the next controversy would involve accusations of theft, a confrontation with his mother, and one of the most bizarre explanations ever given for taking personal hygiene products from a store. The incident began when Isaac's mother confronted him after finding stolen tampons from Walmart in his room trash.
Dad told me I need to clean your room, bud. Stinks.
Get out of my womb, Mom.
Jesus Christ.
My ass is not the food bank. Get out of here.
Can you not leave your McDonald's bags on the floor?
Mom,
What is this?
I don't use it for McDonald's.
Is this a trash bag? What? Are these tampons?
Mom!
Oh my god!
Mom,
What the fuck is wrong with you?
For most creators, a situation like that would immediately trigger embarrassment, an apology, or at least an attempt to explain what happened in a sensible way. Unfortunately, Isaac approached the situation exactly as many longtime followers expected. Rather than acknowledging why people were disturbed by the accusation, he offered a justification that only created more confusion.
Why are you doing this?
I found them at Walmart. They weren't used then, and I put them in my gums because my gums bleed, Mom.
Isaac, this is f***ing horrible. We're gonna have to get you a blood test. You can't do this.
You won't let me use toilet paper each time it
Oh
comes
my
to my
God.
throat. I can't.
Jesus
Mom.
f***ing Christ.
Mom.
We're gonna have to take you to the doctor.
The explanation immediately became one of the most discussed moments among viewers, because nobody could fully understand why he chose tampons of all tools to clean his gums. It's gotta be satire at this point. Yeah, that looked like real blood, so I don't think it is. What made the situation especially uncomfortable was the clear frustration from his mother, who appeared genuinely horrified by the entire incident. Throughout many of Isaac's videos, she often serves as the voice of reality within an environment that has become increasingly disconnected from normal standards of behavior. In this case, she openly described the situation as disgusting and threatened to take him for medical testing, clearly worried that something more serious could be happening behind the scenes. Nevertheless, Isaac remained defensive and showed little interest in accepting criticism. That response reflected a pattern that had already become familiar to his audience. Whether the subject involved hygiene, urine collections, foot infections, feces, or conflicts with family members, criticism was frequently met with explanations that only deepened the controversy rather than resolving it. For this reason, the tampon incident became a perfect summary of the entire Fluff dumpster saga. A simple accusation turned into another viral spectacle, another argument with family, and another example of behavior that left audiences questioning whether they were witnessing genuine beliefs, performance art designed for engagement, or a mixture of both. Whatever the answer may be, if you found this video helpful, or if you think Isaac is as disgusting as he portrays himself to be, share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want more deep dives like this, make sure to subscribe and check out the other videos on the channel.